kick this one off by doing a quick walk around of a couple of rigs that I've got, a couple of trucks and a car. Just to go through, show you what I'm working on, and yeah, what's happening in the shed at the moment. So there's let's start with the 68. This is a 68 F250 4x4, so it's a factory 4 drive. They coined them Highboys, not an actual a term the factory used, but the general public coined them Highboys, just given that they're so high off the ground. This thing I imported myself, brought it in from, obviously from the States. They did bring Highboys out, or they did make them in Australia, or they're available in Australia. I'm not sure if they actually, I'm assuming they assembled them here, but yeah, I guess they, I'm not sure. Anyone that knows more about Australian Highboys, let me know. But they didn't make them in bump sides, I believe. It was just dent sides. But to find a Highboy here in Australia is super hard. They're either completely rusted out or they're, restored. But generally speaking, there's actually not that many around. There never was. They were pretty expensive, so there was only a handful, like a small amount in Australia. So yeah, this thing came in from Oregon. So I bought it sight unseen. A bit of a gamble, but I've got a few contacts over in the States, and that sort of helped me with a few things. Sort of getting it over here, making sure it wasn't a scammer. But yeah, obviously it arrived safe and sound. Everything. There's a bit of a process in getting a car or truck over imported from the States, and a lot of it is due to customs and quarantine and cleaning and things like that, which is a real pain. I can go further into that at some stage if you like, but anyway, it arrived good. It was actually what I thought it was. It was actually a little bit better, which was great. It did have, it's pretty beat up, but in saying that, it's a super dry truck. Considering it's from Oregon, it's actually got very minimal rust in it, or it did. I've actually cut all the rust out, the rust that was in it. There was a little bit on the doors, bottom of the doors. There was a little bit in the gutters, unfortunately, and I did buy a roof cut. It wasn't that bad, so I just patched it up and good as gold. So I didn't end up using the roof cut, which was awesome. At the moment, I'm just going through the truck and getting it ready for a roadworthy, so to get it on the road. So at the moment, I've taken the door panels off. I'm just doing I'm going to do some fish oiling, so the roof lining's out. But overall, it's a pretty dry truck. I mean, check out the floors. There's a rag there. But essentially, I mean, I've actually painted these floors, repainted them red. They did have a little bit of surface rust on them. It did have the original rubber floor mat in it when I bought it. And I actually bought some extra floor pans thinking I'd have to cut the floors out as well, because, again, rubber floor mats from Oregon, I just assumed they were going to be rusted out, but it's super dirty because I actually use it on the farm here. But yeah, a little bit of pitting, but super solid. And the other side, the passenger side's actually better. I think it's a low mile truck. There's a lot of little things that I've been working on and getting things going on this truck. Horn didn't work. What else? Horn didn't work. There was the tail light, license plate light didn't work. Dome light in the interior. They call it a cargo light. Fuel gauge didn't work, and it was just bad connections. Our heater didn't work, and everything was just a bad connection, or just needed to clean. So it actually is a low mile truck, although it's just had a hard life. So, but look, overall, it's a good old girl. The bed, I was carting wood in it today, and funnily enough, the story goes, I bought it off a guy that bought it off the original owner who passed away. Now, he used it for carting wood, for firewood, and yeah, that's what I was using it for today. Actually. Bit of firewood carting. So yeah, look, I've gone through the truck. It's really close to being, I guess, on the road. I've got to do a few little cosmetic things, put the chrome trim back on the bed. Actually, one big thing that I need to do is that cross member. So someone's actually obviously cut that front cross member out, which is a real pain. They had a PDO winch on there, which is cool, but obviously not cool to cut that cross member. Now, funnily enough, I'm very lucky. I did actually source a new cross member from someone here in Australia. You know, given that Highboys here are pretty hard to find, parts are even harder to find, and I ended up put a post on a Facebook group, and this guy said, yeah, I've got one. I've actually got it. I'm doing a conversion on a Highboy, and that cross member is actually in the way, so I need to get rid of it. So it's yours. So I bought it off him. It's coming, and it will be here soon. I'll put that in, and I'll do maybe do a video on how I do that. That light's terrible at the moment. Here's a quick snap of the floor, passenger side. Pretty darn good. So I'm super stoked with this thing. Drives really nice too, actually. Drives super smooth. I don't know whether it's just because it's so worn in that everything's quite, you know, soft and dully, but yeah, no, it's actually all right. So the other rig is 55 Chev. This thing is a 150 sedan utility, which means that it's a factory backseat delete. Essentially the same car, the same body style as the 2-lane blacktop car. Pretty rare car now in terms of 55, because they were all used and abused and used for, they were just the real basic sort of no trim, no optioned car, and no one wanted them, and they were used for drag racing because they were basic and light and things like that. But they were also, you know, used and abused, so they didn't, there's not too many around. I'll do a quick, or I can do a video on this, a more in-depth video if you guys want to see more of this car. Let me know if anyone knows what this hood scoop is off. Question for you. So this thing has a 327 4-speed, Muncie 4-speed fender well headers that I fabricated. I've sort of built this car, except the manifold. I've built this car to sort of 60s nostalgia specs, so nothing on this car really is modern, again, apart from that manifold. So yeah, it's actually a really fun car. It's there's actually a really funny story too on how I bought this, and it was the guy that was selling it, again in the States, said, I want cash and you've got to drive it away. So yeah, if you want to hear more about it, let me know, and I'll do a more in-depth video on that. It's got, I've raised the rear wheel arches. It's got cheetah slicks on it, pie crusts, magnesium, American Racings. Yeah, cool old car. Haven't driven it for a while, so maybe I can do like a start up and a bit of a drive if you want to see that. All right, let's shoot over to the third vehicle, third and final for the moment, is the 1974 Highboy. Again, another Highboy. This is a dent side. This thing is like a bit of a survivor, mostly original paint, pretty amazing car. Funnily enough, another interesting story how I found this. Again, let me know, put a comment if you want to hear more about this car, or if you want me to do more of a walk around in more detail on this rig. It's super nice. It's just very original, well looked after, and like I said, mostly original paint. It has actually had an accident at the front. There's paperwork. When I got the truck, it had a lot of paperwork with it, and it actually did show that back in the day it did have an accident, and the front clip was replaced, so you can see a bit of paint discoloration. Original, like everything's original really. It's original interior. Yeah, 44,000 miles, original miles. It's just a beautiful car, a beautiful truck. Bit of a weekend warrior. This thing's on the road. I drive it not that often, but yeah, I get out there with my wife and we go for a bit of a cruise, and it's a nice driving truck. That door just closes magnificently. But yeah, look, let me know if you wanna see more on this. 74 original Highboy, 44,000 miles. Let me know if there's any particular truck or car or anything you want to see more of. Hit the like button, subscribe, do what you have to do. Thanks for watching.